Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. This week's wisdom for our morning meditations come from a little book called the Tao of Pooh. And I only discovered this book in the last couple of years. It's a rewriting, a retelling of the story of Winnie the Pooh with a recognition of how zen-like this yellow bear is, how much he fits the teachings of Lao Tzu. So the whole book has very much the same feel as the original Winnie the Pooh, but there are these clear life lessons from Lao Tzu's work inside this little book. And in the last couple of years when I found it, I thought this was a recent thing, but it blows my mind going through it again this week that this book was written in 1982 and it's just not been on my radar for forever. So yeah, we're getting right into it again this morning. Linda, a very good morning. It's so good to see you. Hello. Celine, hello. Good morning. Awesome seeing you. Sunray, good morning. Grania, good morning. So happy to have you all here. Right, let's get into it. From the book, The Tao of Pooh, it goes like this. Tigger is the bouncy one, always on the move. No time for a second's rest, there's too much to be done. Living this way can be exhausting though, and finally Tigger turns to Pooh for advice. Karabo, good morning. So good to see you. Hello. Maggie, good morning. Awesome having you all here. So Tigger turns to Pooh for advice and he says, just how do you do it, Pooh? Do what? Asked Pooh. Become so effortless, says Tigger. I don't do much of anything, says Pooh. But all those things of yours, they get done, says Tigger. They just sort of happen, replies Winnie the Pooh. Pooh Bear didn't study in order to be like this. This is just his way. But if he were a student of Lao Tzu, this is how he might describe his way of being. When we learn to work with our own inner nature and with the natural laws operating around us, we reach the level of Wu Wei. Then we work with nature, with the natural order of things, and on the principle of minimal effort. Charlene, good morning. Hello. Since the natural world follows that principle, it does not make mistakes. Mistakes are made or imagined by man, the creature with the overloaded brain who separates himself from the supporting network of natural laws by interfering and trying too hard. Danae, good morning. Hello. When you work with Wu Wei, you put the round peg in the round hole and the square peg in the square hole. No stress, no struggle. Egotistical desire tries to force the round peg into the square hole and the square peg into the round hole. Cleverness tries to devise craftier ways of making pegs fit where they don't belong. Knowledge tries to figure out why round pegs fit into round holes but not square holes. Wu Wei doesn't try. It doesn't think about it, it just does it. And when it does, it doesn't appear to do much of anything, but things get done. When you work with Wu Wei, you have no real accidents. Things may get a little odd at times, but they work out. You don't have to try very hard to make them work out. You just let them. If you're in tune with the way things work, then they work the way they need to, no matter what you may think about it at the time. Later on, you can look back and say, oh, now I understand. That had to happen so that those could happen, and those had to happen in order for this to happen. Then you realize that even if you had tried to make it all turn out perfectly, you couldn't have done better, and if you really tried hard, you would have made a mess of the whole thing. Using Wu Wei, you go by circumstances and listen to your own intuition. This isn't the best time to do this. I'd better go that way. Like that. When you do that sort of thing, people may say you have a sixth sense or something. All it really is, though, is being sensitive to circumstances. That's just natural. It's only strange when you don't listen. That is straight out of the Tao of Pooh. To be effective, we must change the things we can and let go of the things we can't. But when doing is our default and we act before we think, how will we ever know when to do and when to don't? Wu Wei is not about the absence of action. It's about being in touch with the flow of things. But while we are unable to be at peace within discomfort, our compulsions will always trick us into jumping the gun. Today's meditation is an exercise for our minds to wait and to watch and to see. See where to do and where to don't. Anne-Marie, good morning. You're just in time. Here we go. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and we'll all float away together, starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. As you exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and drop your head. Our meditation today is, I am the mountain. Continue your full body breathing while we have this conversation. from the message this morning, it may have sounded like our meditation might be the serenity prayer, where to accept and where to take action. But the reason why it is so often difficult for us to find the wisdom to know when to accept and when to act is that we often find ourselves in a reactive space, a space where we are already just about triggered to act. And when we are that close to acting either one way or the other, we leave no space for the wisdom to know the difference. It is only when we are able to sit with a little bit of discomfort, be in uncomfortable situations without having the compulsion to do or say something. It is when we experience that spaciousness that within this space we find the wisdom that helps us know when to do and when to don't. And this is the mountain meditation. The ability to be comfortable, even in discomfort. The ability to take a step back and let things unfold. So that we allow wisdom to guide our actions. Is this something that needs my action at all? Or is the wisest move no action? We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch and adjust and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward. Roll out your neck muscles, going forward and to the left, forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circle. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine and see if you're able to tilt your head towards the left while tilting your hips towards the right, curving your spine into an S from your head down to your tailbone, and then change direction. Tilt your head to the right and your hips to the left. And switch sides. Takes just a little bit of coordination. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least as much as we are able to do that right now, we now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is always a good place to stop. Although if you are here for the whole journey, we'll hold our breath for every next inhale, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. Let's do the next few together. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips in and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. And feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, the reminder is, our meditation today is called I Am the Mountain. See if you can form an image of your mountain. Take your next big breath. You're invited to be as open and as playful with this experience as you can be. Open yourself to visualization, and this doesn't mean you have to be great at creating these pictures in your mind. It simply means be open and lean into your imagination. The more you do, the better the effect would be. And to give you an idea of how this works, is imagine falling asleep and then falling into a dream state and seeing imagery that's not quite real. When that happens, your brain waves have gone from an awake beta alpha state down into a sleeping theta state in which you were able to visualize. Likewise, right now, sitting and breathing and closing your eyes has likely already lowered your brain waves from beta to alpha. The more surrendered you become, the more you're able to embrace imagery in your imagination. The lower your brain waves go, down into theta. And this just means you are giving yourself more access to your subconscious. And that just means that this will stick longer. So please join us in exploring the mountain first. Just have fun with it before we get to the more serious part. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, zoom out from your mountain. Do a fly around your mountain. See it from top to bottom and ask this question: how much vegetation is on my mountain? How much of it is covered in plant life? And how much of it is rocky? Get into that imagination. Take your next big breath. Then we'll turn our attention specifically to the plants on your mountain. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, zoom in on a specific plant. See if you can find specific details of either the leaf or the flower. Zoom in far enough. You can even see the tiny veins in the leaf or in the petals. Take your next big breath. Then we'll shift our attention to the animals on your mountain. Find an animal to zoom into. Get all the way close up so you can have a good look at its fur. See the color. See the patterns. And even see the individual hairs. Take your next big breath. And then we shift our attention to the birds on your mountain. Find a specific bird. Zoom all the way in to take a look at its feathers. Appreciate the colors, the change in color. And get so close that you can zoom all the way into the feather and the most intricate details of this feather. Take your next big breath. And then again, sit as your mountain. Sit as a mountain does in the sun, feeling the surface warmed up by the heat of the sun's rays. We've just had a look at all of the life on this mountain. How would your mountain feel about being the holder of all of this life? Take your next big breath. And then when the clouds roll in and there's no more sun and it starts to rain and raindrops turn into rivulets and streams on the surface of your mountain, how much does your mountain try to resist the rain? How much does your mountain try to interfere? How does your mountain feel about sitting in the rain? Take your next big breath. And when the sun goes down and the wind picks up and rain turns into full-blown storm with wind and water lashing the face of your mountain, a howling loudness around every corner, thunder and lightning. How much does your mountain try and resist the storm? How does your mountain feel about sitting in the middle of a storm? Take your next big breath. And as a new day breaks, the first rays of sunlight touch the face of your mountain, and the air is crisp and clear, as the mountain knew it would be. How does your mountain feel about a new day breaking? Take your next big breath. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together. Slipping out of the breath-holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness slips in and settles in every fiber of your being. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. The mountain meditation is not about the absence of action. It's not about becoming passive and never taking action. But it is the realization that our reactiveness tends to not serve us. We often tend to be on a hair trigger that is just ready to react, either in action or in words, either fighting or running. And that lack of spaciousness brings with it a lack of wisdom. Practicing being non-reactive is developing the skill that helps us sit in discomfort for a while. When the weather changes and it rains and we're wet. When the weather changes again and it's a storm and we might be scared. Can we become better at being non-reactive? Taking a step back, taking a few big breaths, and just observing for a while. The space that we create when we do this, that is the space in which wisdom lives. The space in which we have at least the possibility of seeing what to accept and what to take action on. I'll read to you this beautiful little piece. Imagine Tigger from Winnie the Pooh bouncing on his tail as he does, not able to be still for a moment as he asks Winnie, "Just how do you do it, Pooh?" "Do what?" asks Pooh. "Become so effortless," says Tigger. "Well, I don't do much of anything," says Pooh. "But all those things of yours, they get done," says Tigger. "They just sort of happen," says Pooh Bear. To be effective, we must change the things we can and let go of the things we can't. But when constantly doing has become our default, and if we always act before we think, then how will we know when to do and when to don't? We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and you are invited to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for this week's work from this beautiful book, The Tao of Pooh. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for being reminded that wisdom lives in the space we create. Viktor Frankl called it the space between stimulus and response. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to find comfort in the discomfort. Not feeling pressured to act either this way or that. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning that just stopping all the action that was aimed at things that are not mine to act on, all the interfering where I shouldn't be interfering, just that gives me so much more time to pay attention to the few things that do need to get done. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. This long extract from the book that I shared this morning will be in the email. It's well worth reading through it again. Shabs, good morning. So good to see you. Vivian, a very good morning. Stephen, hello. It's always good to see you. Good morning. So good to see you, Serene. Hope you have a beautiful day. Maggie, have an awesome day. Thank you. Danae, have a beautiful day. Thanks to, trying to remember who else is here. Thanks to Sunmarie. Thanks to Linda. Thanks to Colette. I think I saw Colette pop in. Have an awesome day, all of you. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.